How you say rich baby daddy? It's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, like, man, my daddy got it.
And you're gonna take it and you're gonna smoke it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right, that's all I need to be clear. That's all I need to be clear.
But it already happened. He played one of my leaked songs and it was better than every other song this year.
Because you did leak Drake's address, correct?
No, he advertised it when he was building the house. Everyone knows it. It's like a place in Canada you go by. It's a monument.
Y'all won't believe who just jumped into the Drake and Kendrick drama. Kanye West himself has entered the chat. And honey, he is spilling some major tea about Drake being a federal informant. Now, we all know Kanye can be a bit, let's say, unpredictable, but here's the thing. That man always comes with receipts. He's calling Drake out for being the biggest hypocrite ever for running to the feds, claiming our boy Drake has been in bed with them for ages. But wait, it gets even juicier. Kanye claims he has some explosive evidence showing that Drake's lawsuits against UMG are just a smokescreen to feed information about certain rappers to the feds. And guess who else isn't buying Drake's innocent act? Kendrick Lamar himself. Word on the street is that Kendrick's got more diss tracks coming and they're packed with some serious dirt on Drake. But is Drake really working with the feds? And what's Kendrick's take on all this drama? Let's dig into this piping hot tea.
Are you serious, bro? I think that this is one of the worst situations that could have ever possibly happened in hip hop. Imagine you get into a beef with somebody that you want to engage with. Yeah, you got challenged, but then you antagonizing the beef. And it becomes one of the biggest, most looked at situations that's going on publicly.
By now, everyone's seen how Drake has gone completely defensive in this beef with Kendrick, pulling every trick in the book to try and get Kendrick kicked out of the industry. But here's the thing, sweetie. Drake clearly didn't read the room, and Kanye is here to drag him for it. Now, let's spill some background tea. Kanye and Drake have been at each other's throats for what feels like forever, mainly because Kanye thinks Drake is nothing but a culture vulture who uses hip-hop when it works for him and runs crying to his protectors when things get tough. Kanye made this crystal clear in a recent interview where he exposed Drake for using his sugar daddy, Lucian Grange, to manipulate the industry and climb the ladder of success. The shade of it all.
How you say rich baby daddy? It's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian.
So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucian.
Well, Lucian worked for people who control the banks in Africa.
In that same interview, Kanye did not hold back. He straight up called Lucian a culture vulture, darling, saying this man uses his power and influence to control not just the music industry, but also black people, especially in Africa. The audacity.
He's still a hired gun. He's just like a nigga handler. Like, he just control Universal. He run it for him, but he ain't no overboss or nothing like
so
that.
He not no billionaire nigga like Ye.
Yeah, I mean, but he got
a
billion. You know what I'm saying? His money is infinite. It's a form of energy. It's a tool and shit. Work for people who control the banks in Africa, who keep,
Oh my God.
Think about
download.
We had Black Wall Street, we had Harlem, we've been gentrified, and we ain't really been pulled together since, other than to maintain what they call the black vote, which you don't have an opinion in that vote. And then they get all these celebrities, they go on TV
Now, this tea is about to get even hotter because guess what? Drake just filed not one, but two separate lawsuits against Universal Music Group. And who's sitting pretty at the top of UMG? None other than Lucian Grange himself. Let me break this down for you. Drake listened to Kendrick's GNX album once and realized he was in way over his head. So what does our drama queen do? Exactly what he always does, throws a massive tantrum and plays the victim card. On November 25th, Drake filed this lawsuit against UMG and Spotify, claiming they were all in cahoots to make Kendrick's Not Like Us look more popular than it really was. The court documents are spilling all kinds of tea about this supposedly illegal scheme involving bots, payola, and other shady methods to pump up Kendrick's numbers. Drake's team is saying UMG didn't even try to be subtle about it. They straight up launched this whole campaign to manipulate streaming numbers and flood the airwaves. As proof, Drake's team brought up this wild story about someone on the internet saying they asked Siri to play a completely different song, but Kendrick's track came on instead. Can you believe the drama? But here's where it gets interesting, honey. This isn't even a real lawsuit yet. It's more like Drake saying, I know you're being naughty, now show me your receipts so I can prove it. He doesn't even need actual proof right now, and get this, he threw in a RICO allegation. Yes, girl, the same thing that has Young Thug behind bars right now. Everyone's starting to think Drake is just throwing everything at the wall, hoping something sticks because he's actually working with the feds. The theory is that by accusing UMG of fraud and RICO violations, he's setting the stage for the feds to step in and give him cover when he starts snitching on other rappers. And Chile, Kanye is not having it. Let me tell you about the history between these two because, child, it is messy. You see, things weren't always bad blood between Kanye and Drake. Back in the day, Drake actually looked up to Kanye, calling him one of his biggest inspirations. Kanye seemed to feel the same way, even working his magic on tracks like Find Your Love from Drake's debut album, Thank Me Later. But honey, that love fest didn't last long. The drama started when Drake was supposed to be featured on Kanye's star-studded track All of the Lights with Rihanna and Kid Cudi. But at the last minute, and this is the tea, Kanye cut Drake's verse from the song. Drake took that personally, and that's when the shade-throwing began.
When I'm standing in the city right now, I just want y'all to understand that there's been a lot of rappers that came in the game and wasn't able to do something like this for their city. And we wouldn't be able to make the music that we make. Me and Ho would have never made Watch the Throne if this nigga wanna put pressure on us like that.
But wait, it gets even messier. In this interview with The Source, Drake really showed his true colors when he said his main goal wasn't just to be as good as Kanye, he wanted to surpass him. The audacity. He literally said, I don't want to be as good as Kanye, I want to be better. Now, through all this shade, Kanye mostly kept his cool and ignored Drake's little sneak disses. But then came the biggest drama of all. Rumors started flying that Kanye was the one who told Pusha T about Drake's secret son. Remember that whole mess? Pusha used that T in his legendary diss track, The Story of Adidon, forcing Drake to finally admit he had a child and stop playing hide-and-seek with fatherhood.
Keep clear of this one thing, though, because I guess some people, the perception is where did Pusha T get the information for the diss song, this song to Drake?
Don't even pull me.
I'm not pulling you. That's why I'm asking you.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying
right.
two people.
Right.
Don't pull me into that type of conversation. That's what y'all don't even understand. It's like.
So you didn't get Pusha T the information?
No, I didn't. But don't pull me into this conversation. Like, I'm Ye. I got major things to do other than be telling him some information about Drake. You know what I mean?
Like that's gossipy.
Yeah, I don't sit around and do that. Like, I honestly don't care that much. In all honesty, bro. Right. Like, it's fine, but I just enjoy music. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy being with my family. I enjoy making music. That's not, my head's not even in that place.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, you have been very vocal about a lot of things.
Yes.
Now, when people asked Kanye about spilling Drake's secret to Pusha, he denied everything. But Chile, Drake wasn't buying it for a second.
Do you look at it though as like a sidebar almost to the biggest conflict, which is the ups and downs of your relationship with Kanye West at the end of the day?
I think that that's where all of this kind of stems from. It's all kind of rooted in that situation. Yes, you know, I think that he definitely recruited a guy with a similar dislike for me, no matter what he says in interviews. You know, I know that he can tell whoever, you know, I got love for him and whatever, but it's not love. You know, it's there's something there that bothers him deeply, and. Yeah, I can't fix it for him, so.
Drake went on to say he wasn't exactly jumping for joy about making peace with Kanye. The shade of it all, he basically said even if they were going to bury the hatchet, he wasn't going to be the one making the first move.
You know, I'm always willing, like I said, I'm always willing to give the love and the credit. But yeah, things have just changed. I'm not just some kid that's a fan anymore, and Now we have personal situations. And like I said, a lot of his issues with me, I can't fix them for him.
But would you be open to communication?
No, not really, because it's not on my end. I have no problem with any of these guys. I don't even know these guys like that.
But Kanye, baby, he wasn't about to apologize for anything. Instead, he made everything 10 times worse when he went off about Drake stirring up rumors about him and Kim.
Now, if I wasn't in a medicated state, I might have thought and had the wherewithal to say, hey, Pusha, don't diss Drake on my beat. And I spoke about that and took accountability for that. Now, what I'm looking for my spirit to take accountability is the fact that it's people making rumors or thinking that you f my wife and you're not saying nothing and you carrying it like that, that don't sit well with my spirit. You know, if I had a girlfriend from Chicago, her name was Renita, and then you was married to Rihanna, I wouldn't make no song called Riri. So when you're like, oh, I don't know where it come from, you too smart for that, bro. You know where that come from. Don't make no record with nothing that could be confused. Now, I told you, I didn't tell Pusha no information about your baby mama, nothing like that. That ain't come from me. But when you played that record for me in the studio that said, yo, we got some Kylies, we got some Kendalls, I told you, Travis is your man. Don't make no record like I told you, Travis is your man. Don't make no record like that. That man just had a baby with her. That's gonna be offensive. That's gonna be offensive to her. I hit Trav about the XT record and made sure that we was all good, that we know we family, right? So I did tell you not to do that. So period, it's like, don't speak on nobody from my family, nothing that could be even mentioned with my wife. Period. We don't have to talk again. I'm not giving no energy.
Now this is where it gets real messy. Kanye was still married to Kim Kardashian at the time, and according to him, Drake was being the biggest snake, sneak dissing him in songs while secretly texting Kris Jenner like they were BFFs. Kanye took to Twitter and just exploded. He exposed Drake for threatening him and his family, tweeting, "Been trying to meet with you for 6 months, bro. You sneak dissing on Trav Records and texting Kris talking about how's the family, stop this already, bro. You getting people hurt out here and over what?" But he wasn't done. Kanye straight up warned Drake, saying if anything happened to him or his family, Drake would be the first suspect. This was major T because it was the first time another rapper publicly called out Drake's pattern in beefs, how he would say something absolutely wild about someone's family or career, and then play innocent victim when they clapped back. That's exactly what happened with Pusha T, leading to the whole Secret Son exposure, and now he's pulling the same moves with Kendrick, dragging his wife into the mess. And baby, Kendrick responded with a diss track that had everyone's jaws on the floor.
Drake, you did the same thing twice now. You mentioned Virginia Williams or whatever with Pusha T's wife, and you saw that took the gloves off, and we saw what happened. You mentioned Whitney, and Kendrick Lamar's wife name is Whitney. You have to be prepared for anything. There is no, oh nah, I can't believe you said that. No, because you're talking crazy already too. This is a knock 'em out slugfest. This is no holds bar. This is, I don't care what that nigga says.
Just when Drake thought he could start picking up the pieces of his shattered reputation after the Kendrick beef, Kendrick dropped a surprise album that had everyone gagging. He threw some serious shade at Drake in his latest album GNX, especially in The Heart Part 6. Now, if you remember, Drake had tried to disrespect Kendrick by stealing his The Heart series for a diss track. But what did Kendrick do? He completely ignored Drake's attempt like it wasn't even worth acknowledging. The shade of it all. Kendrick wasn't done throwing shade in his album. On his track, Whacked Out Murals, he dropped this line that had everyone talking. Snoop posted tailor-made, "I prayed it was the edibles dudes from my city couldn't entertain old boy promising bank transactions and even Bitcoin." And get this, word on the street is that Kendrick's got even more tea to spill about Drake. People are whispering that if Drake pushes forward with this lawsuit, Kendrick's got enough dirt to bury him. Let me spill some piping hot tea about these streaming numbers Drake's complaining about. See, Drake's crying about Spotify and UMG using bots to boost Kendrick's songs. And yeah, maybe he's right that labels sometimes use bots and payola to pump up their artists. But here's the gag. Drake himself has benefited from these exact same practices. Remember when his Scorpion album dropped dropped in 2018? Chile, you couldn't open Spotify without Drake's face popping up everywhere. Every single playlist had his songs, and you literally couldn't search for anything without Drake showing up. It got so bad that Spotify had to give refunds to subscribers who were fed up with being force-fed Drake's music. Now everyone's calling him out for being the biggest hypocrite, throwing a tantrum about the same practices that made him famous just because he can't handle taking an L gracefully.
I don't know it like that.
He
Now,
got this. He said the record didn't do the numbers that it did. Right. They inflated the numbers to make the song seem more popular than what it actually was.
Okay, I got that part.
Drake is the first guy to have 20 songs with at least 1 billion streams.
Yes, sir.
It's hard to say there's a rapper bigger worldwide than Drake. Right. Drake, bro, okay, he got one up on you. It happens. You take this kind of measure? Chad, I'm confused. Just let it, bro, he got you. Ocho, you know how guy, we round there, we joning.
Right.
Guy get you. He get on you just right. Hey, ain't nothing you can do. It can't no comeback. He just got, hey, bro, you got me today. Drake, he got you. It's okay, bro. You Drake. Kendrick got one up on you. Not the end of the world, bro. Yeah. But I'm surprised that he went to this measure.
But here's the thing, sweetie. None of this drama matters if the feds decide to get involved. It won't matter one bit if Drake benefited from these practices before, as long as he's the one blowing the whistle now. And Kanye, baby, he is still riding that anti-Drake train hard. He even came for Drake in his recent Vultures 2 album. On the track 530, he spat these bars: "You a fake B, you don't love ye. Go listen to Drake B. The shade." Now, whether Drake wins this lawsuit or not, one thing's crystal clear. People are finally seeing Drake for who he really is. His fans are even turning on him, saying he made the biggest mistake of his career. One person spilled the tea saying, "This is so going to backfire on Drake, all his dirty laundry about to come out and the industry might get raided now." Another fan dropped this truth bomb: "Drake isn't smart at all. The industry got rid of people for less. If, and that's a big IF, Drake can win that money, he'll be looking over his back the rest of his life." Oh, and stick around because this next story is about to make your jaw drop. See how everything's coming full circle? Drake started this whole mess trying to take down Kendrick, and now he might just end up taking himself down instead. The way the tables have turned is just perfect drama. But what do y'all think? Is Kanye right about Drake being a snake working with the feds? And do you think this whole thing is going to blow up in Drake's pretty boy face? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this tea is too hot to handle alone. This entire situation is giving us everything: betrayal, revenge, exposed secrets, and enough shade to block out the sun. And knowing these rappers, this drama is far from over. Stay tuned for more updates on this piping hot mess. This piping hot mess.